Good morning, everyone. Today is March 27th, Friday. We made it through our first official week of virtual learning, and I'm so excited that you guys have been able to join us. I'm also super excited because I am seeing so many of you putting your assignments in on time or letting me know if you're going to be a day late or something, and I really appreciate that. So I'm looking forward to putting in some feedback today. But today I wanted to make sure that we are talking about your lesson. So you guys all week have been working on your mini QPA number 1, where you're doing a brochure about the economy that you were assigned. So you were either studying about market, command, or developing economies. And your job this week was to be able to create a brochure, an informational brochure to tell people about that specific type of economy, its advantages and disadvantages. And you also needed to create a works cited page, which is something that we are getting used to, and paraphrasing information that you research from those articles. So, so far, everything looks really good for those of you that have turned things in. And like I said, I'm excited to put in that feedback and see how well you're doing in showing mastery on these topics. Anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get started. You'll probably hear Will running around. So just know that he's here and is a busy, busy toddler. Yep, see, here you are. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Okay, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, go. So anyhow, I'm going to share my screen with you so we can look over some of the information on where we're at and what your expectations are for today. Okay, so here we go. All right, so if we're going to today's worksheet, it's going to be dated 3/27. Just as a heads up, your competency is read critically. Your objective today is to explain a type of economy and how that economy gives advantages and disadvantages to its people by using evidence from your text. So those are all 6 of the texts or videos that you guys were given or found. And then through the time, we're just going to spend a little bit of time on a discussion question. Again, that's going to be in Google Classroom, sort of like I do now. So make sure that you're putting in your answer. Try to reply, not try, please do reply to at least one of your classmates. So that question, to get us started, is if you could give one of our government leaders some feedback on how they are handling things currently, what would you say to them? And then again, just make sure that you're responding back to one of your classmates. And this is a pretty typical format in a lot of online classes. So those of you who are thinking about doing online classes for college next year, whether that's full-time or even just 1 or 2 classes that are online, know that this is a format that is often used. Okay, so we're gonna get in, excuse me, we're gonna get into our lesson today. And you guys are going to be doing feedback. So you're going to be, again, reading critically someone else's work in this case, right? So we're going to talk about tag, right? So you guys have probably seen something similar to this, but basically it's just 3 points that you're going to be making. So you're going to tell the author 3 things that they did well. You're going to ask 3 questions about their writing. And then you're going to give 3 suggestions to improve. Okay, so everybody has access to my trifold rubric, the one that was on fascism, which is a type of government and economy that you guys did not study. So that's why I did it on that, because I didn't want anybody to get any freebies out of the work that we're doing. So we learned, or you could have taken the time to read a little bit about fascism through my brochure. Keep in mind, on the numbers, that this would be the first page. So this is like my cover page. And then here is, I'm doing some information on what fascism is. So if I go back to my tell 3 things the author did well, right? That's gonna be the first step that I complete. I am gonna go through, and I really like how this author organized their ideas. So for me, I'm gonna put in, and I'm gonna put this in as the comments. in the trifold itself. So for me to do that, I'm just gonna go click highlight where I wanna talk about, and then I'm gonna click on comments. And then here I'll say, I really like the way that you organized your brochure. Because in the directions that I gave you, you didn't need to organize it in any particular way. You just had to have certain components. So it was totally up to you on how you decided to organize your information. Okay, so now that's one thing that I am commenting on that they did well at. One of the other things is I really liked how this author gave me like clear examples and gave me a little bit of history in regards to fascism. So I'm going to put that here as well as a comment. Okay. And you're just going to go ahead and put that in. And then we're going to move on to the next one. I think you guys are probably getting the idea of how this will work. So we'll do 2 rounds of each one just so you have an idea. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to ask 3 questions about the writing or about the information. So one of the things that I wanted to ask the author is when they talked about how businesses under fascism obtain contracts. And I'm going to ask them, because knowing what I know about the history of fascism, and they gave me an example of Benito Mussolini, who was a dictator in Italy, and then I'm hearing about obtaining contracts. That actually made me think of the Italian mob, believe it or not. So I'm going to ask that if there is any connection between fascism and mobs or gangs. And my author might be able to answer that. They might be able to add some additional information in there. And then one of the other questions that I wanted to make, let's see, was who are these people? So they didn't put a caption under the photo. So we want to make sure that all of our captions have photos. And as a history person, I know who those people are, but I want to make sure that my author is providing that to an audience that might not be a history or English teacher, or they just might not be familiar with that type of history. Okay, and then the next thing that I'm going to go to is I'm going to give 3 suggestions. Okay, so before I give 3 suggestions, I'm also going to take a look at our brochure rubric. And this is really just like the rubric that talks about like the organization and spelling and mechanics and that sort of stuff. It's not the rubric that goes into your student grade book, right? Because you're being graded on being able to read critically. So keep that in mind. But this is still important because you want to make sure that you're hitting all of the criteria for success for this particular project. Graphics, pictures, I kind of already mentioned that, like they needed to have some sort of a caption about those. Content and accuracy of information, this is where I'm probably going to focus my questions on. So one of the things here is, like, I want to know, where are my terms, right? So those are the things. I know that my person needs to have all those terms. So I'm going to put that in as a comment. Make sure to add in the definitions of your terms. And then I know that that same kind of comment could go for the works cited page. So I would put that in there as well as maybe a second one. But for my second one, I am going to focus on a different portion. So one of the other things that I liked about this one, but also was sort of distracting to me, was that there was some spelling errors here: finance, globalization, and I really just like would have liked some additional information about this type of economy. Okay, so I am gonna highlight that and make a comment regarding spelling and punctuation and wanting more information overall about why fascism works or doesn't. Okay, take a look at your So take a look at your spelling and grammar errors and correct them. And then my other thing that I'm just going to say to them is it would be nice if we had a little more information about fascism in maybe like a graph or chart. Okay. All right, so that is how you're going to be using tag. Again, just to make sure that everybody knows, it's to tell 3 things that the author did well. You're going to ask 3 questions about the writing, and then you're going to give 3 suggestions for improvement. So we always want to be positive in what in the way that we're telling people things. So make sure that you use a positive tone. And once you receive that feedback from your partner, and if you're wondering who your partner is, I have that for you also somewhere. Actually, I don't have this, so it will be posted in your Google Classroom. I thought it was on this worksheet, but it is not. It will be posted in your Google Classroom on who you should be switching papers with. And if you have any questions, or if your person's ghosting you for some reason, just let me know, and maybe have someone at your house go over this process with you to take a look at your work and give you those suggestions under tag. Okay, I hope that this video was helpful. Again, it will be posted in your Google Classroom momentarily, so you want to make sure to get that turned in. I would love to be able to have these done and graded by Monday. So if you could help me out with that, I would appreciate it. We're just going to make sure that everybody is in under classwork. Sorry, it's taking a second for that to load. And again, under classwork, it'll be under Unit 5, World Economies, where you're going to turn it in, right? So it's going to be, you need to have Part 1 completed here, right? That's your paraphrasing and everything. And then you need to have Part 2 completed as well. And that's the actual brochure itself. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at my school email. You can also text or call. And then of course, always check your Instagram at the Not Quite Couture Teacher for more information, and today, especially for some Friday funnies. I miss you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. And I truly, truly look forward to the day that we can have class live in person again. Thanks so much. And I hope you guys have an awesome day.